Hello everybody, my name is Evan, and this video series will focus specifically on COVID-19. Today we will cover the structure of the SARS-CoV-2 virus and also the history of coronaviruses as a whole. Let's first begin by looking at some background information on viruses. A virus is a non-living infectious agent composed of genetic material, either deoxyribonucleic acid, known as DNA, or ribonucleic acid, known as RNA. This genetic material is surrounded by a protein coat, which when put together composes a virus. DNA and RNA are both types of nucleic acids, with DNA being double-stranded and RNA being single-stranded. Additionally, viruses cannot survive without a host because they are unable to perform life-sustaining functions by themselves. In the case of COVID-19, the hosts are humans. Specifically, the hosts are the cells lining the airways. Here in this picture, you can see some of the thousands of types of viruses found all throughout the earth. You can see that each virus, although they may look different, have the same basic structure of genetic material surrounded by a protein coat. Now let's discuss the history of coronaviruses. So coronaviruses are a fairly common type of virus found all throughout the globe that can infect both humans and also some animals. These viruses are known to evolve in animals first and then be able to jump and infect humans. Coronaviruses are not a new type of virus that we just discovered. Rather, we've known about them for decades. Two of the most well-known types of coronaviruses are SARS, which caused an outbreak in 2002, and MERS, which caused an outbreak in 2012. The SARS-CoV-2 strand, named after its resemblance to the SARS strand, was first identified in Wuhan, China, and was declared a pandemic on March 11, 2020 by the World Health Organization. SARS-CoV-2 is the seventh known strand of coronavirus to have the ability to infect humans. Here you can see an image of the SARS-CoV-2 virus taken using an electron microscope. Finally, let's look at the external and internal structure of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Here you can see a model of the virus structure with there being S, M, and E proteins on the surface of the viral envelope. Let's first talk about the viral envelope. This is a layer containing fat molecules which act to protect the genetic material inside the virus from the host immune system and also plays a role in the infection of host cells. Next, we have spike proteins, also known as S proteins. These proteins are seen as attachments to the viral envelope that allow the virus to latch onto receptors located on the surface of potential host cells. These proteins also give the SARS-CoV-2 virus its crown-like appearance under the microscope. The word corona in Latin means crown and is seen in all types of coronaviruses. So there are three main parts to the S protein, being the receptor binding domain, S1 domain, and S2 domain. The purpose of the receptor binding domain is to recognize the specific receptor that the virus needs to attach to, which in the case of SARS-CoV-2 is the ACE2 receptor, which we will talk about in our next video. The primary function of S1 is to allow the virus to bind to the host cell receptor, and the primary function of S2 is ensuring the connection between the viral and cellular membranes. Next, we have the envelope protein, also known as E proteins. The primary function of these proteins are for the assembly of the virus while replicating inside the host cell. Additionally, this protein is used in the formation of the viral envelope and pathogenesis, or the development of a disease. To continue, we have membrane proteins, also known as M proteins. These are the most common types of proteins found in the viral membrane and help to maintain the structural integrity and spherical shape of the virus. Here we have nucleocapsid proteins, also known as N proteins. These proteins are inside of the protein coat and are bound to the virus's RNA and help during viral replication inside of the host cell. Finally, RNA, the genetic information of the virus, is found inside the protein coat attached to the N proteins. In conclusion, coronaviruses are a family of common viruses that have been known about for decades. On the viral envelope, there are three main types of proteins, being the spike, S, envelope, E, and membrane, M, proteins. Inside the protein coat lies the nucleocapsid protein, N protein, and RNA. The S protein is responsible for attachment to the host cell. The E protein is responsible for the assembly of the virus. The M protein is responsible for the maintenance of the virus shape. And the N protein is responsible for the stabilization of RNA. If you have any further questions, please look towards the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website, cdc.gov, for guidance. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next video.